We begin tonight with another step closer to an overhaul of our tax system. Tonight, significant new details revealed in the Republican-backed plan.
Supporters say it'll help the middle class and rev up the economy, but critics completely disagree, claiming it's a massive giveaway to corporations and the wealthy at the expense of most everyone else. KCAL9 political reporter Bryan has all the late details and reaction from the president tonight.
And the headline here really is that the House and the Senate have now pretty much agreed on most of the details about how this bill will be compromised. President Trump is the engineer on this train, and he wants to get it into the station on time. Today, he told supporters that if he can sign the new tax law by Christmas, less than 2 weeks from now, Americans will begin to see more money and less tax being taken out of their paychecks by February. Quickly pivoting from a Republican loss in Alabama, President Trump is trying to steer the party to a victory on tax reform, painting the current tax structure as a disaster.
Our current tax code is burdensome, complex, and profoundly unfair. It has exported our jobs, closed our factories, and left millions of parents worried that their children might be the first generation to have less opportunity than the last.
The House and Senate negotiators have now reportedly agreed on the plan to replace it, a plan that includes a 21% corporate tax rate, up slightly from the 20% rate in the earlier bills, a reduced tax rate ceiling of 37% for the wealthiest individual and family tax filers, mortgage interest deductions on loans of up to $750,000, and deductions for state and local taxes or property taxes of up to $10,000. This would be a holiday gift, the president declared, for taxpayers.
We want to give you, the American people, a giant tax cut for Christmas. And when I say giant, I mean giant.
But the president's giant Christmas gift is getting a rough reception in some quarters. Tax bill protesters chanting, "Kill the bill, don't kill us," filled the hallways of some congressional office buildings in Washington. Here in Southern California, USC Gould Law School professor Edward McCaffery, an expert on tax issues, says the modifications made by the conference committee will reduce the pain for many California taxpayers, but not eliminate it.
They soften the attack on California. So what we just went through in terms of a lessening of the reduction in mortgage interest, a somewhat weakening of the state and local tax deduction position, and a lowering of that top bracket, those somewhat help Californians. But I think Californians still need to be in a state of high alert. And this is a move in the direction of the complete elimination of the mortgage interest deduction and the state and local tax deduction.
One aspect of the Republican Senate tax reduction plan will reportedly not be changing. That's the repeal of the Obamacare requirement that Americans buy health insurance or pay a penalty for not buying it. Some healthcare consumer advocacy officials say that provision and another one in the Senate healthcare bill that would fund the deficit from tax cuts by pooling resources out of Medicare and Medicaid could be a disaster.
This tax bill is a medical disaster for California, both because of the immediate impacts to Medicare, the immediate impacts to premiums, the immediate impacts to more people uninsured, but also what it means for setting up a much more dramatic cuts to the Medicaid and Medicare programs to pay for this whole thing.
So here's the Republican timetable for getting the tax plan signed, sealed, and delivered. GOP lawmakers are hoping to finalize their tax compromise bill no later than Friday. Then they would vote next week and deliver the package of steep tax cuts for corporations and more modest cuts for families to the president before Christmas. At least that's the plan right now. I should warn you, things don't always work on time in Washington, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's government work, right?
Yeah. Just had to throw that in there.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. Dave, when it comes to this massive overhaul, I would assume that there'd be a lot of committee hearings and discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big deal, but I haven't heard much about that. Why is that?
Well, there's a real urgency now for getting this done fast. I mean, really fast. The president is desperate to plant the flag of congressional achievement, something, anything, by the end of the year. Otherwise, he feels he'll probably never hear the end of it. In fact, details of the bill won't even be released until the end of this week. And this is not a 3-page post office naming resolution, folks. There will be a lot of surprises hidden in this bill that will come to public attention in the coming weeks and months, most of them after the president president signs it into law. It's a risky and dangerous political strategy in the sense that if previously unknown portions of the bill come to light and get a strong negative reaction, that could certainly backfire on the president and on his party, Jeff.